to see.
Well,
I know you're not. They wear special armbands. Says ex-pro. You're not allowed to shout at them. But when they say something, I was right.
I don't get that, and we'll start the show properly in a minute, because the thing is, they say you've never played the game. No, but I've been doing telly 36 years. You're in my game now, mister.
Plus,
I won't come onto the pitch. You don't come on here. If that's the rules, then see him smile. Dean Windass joining, of course, not you, Dean.
Dean will be here any second. Plus, as often when they started, but you never played the game, I say, yeah, I'm not Thomas Chippendale, but I know a good table from a bad table.
You go.
Simple
That's
as that,
the
isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what. When we get Dean Windass out later on, I'll knock him right out.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
He'll be up for that as well. He'll be bang up for that.
Anyway, thank you for joining us in our brand new Near to Mid.
Fantastic that preceded it, and I mean fantastic because it's lovely to see sometimes the curtain of time part and something happen. You all know, you saw it. It's been on TV and YouTube. A reporter went out about the town of Merseyside asking people about a very famous derby from, I can say, back in the midst of time, 1967, and this is what happened.
Just wondering whether you remember the derby match in 1967 at Goodison, FA Cup, 5th round, and it was shown on a big screen at Anfield at the same time.
That's right.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do. I played in it.
Did you?
I was goalkeeper for Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a stroke of luck, me meeting
nice.
you. Yeah. Sorry, can you remind me of your name?
Tommy Lawrence.
Tommy, nice to meet you. What do you remember about it?
It was a great game, yes. Alan Ball scored the winner.
He did indeed.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, that is Mr. Tommy Lawrence, who was the goalkeeper in Liverpool's first great team of the early 60s,
it totally
the mid-60s.
Absolutely. He was to play with Ian St John and everybody else.
All those.
And I must say, I wouldn't have recognised it to be absolutely on the street. But it's something you don't see in contemporary footballers' faces. The thrill, the joy that come out of his face just thinking back at that and saying, and the grace of him to say that, you know. Yeah, I was a player. I was, and as he said that, I think everyone of a certain age said, "It's Tommy Lawrence, everyone."
Yeah,
and
I would have been. I'd been happy if he'd reached into his pocket and produced his various league title medals as well while he was at it.
I know.
It was
that
great.
huge.
Oddly enough, Danny, it links into something absolutely amazing that's happened here at VSPO in the last week. Sometimes people find old documents. Sometimes they retire from jobs where they've had access to documents. There's nothing secret about this or something. Somebody has sent us, and it's absolutely real, the Liverpool Football Club accounts for 1 week in August of 1960.
Oh, OK.
Have a look at this. On there, I'll show you several things that are on there. These are the wages of the players in 1960.
There's Tommy's. I can see Tommy's.
It's the last season before the end of the sort of maximum wage. Look there, second yellow line down. Roger Hunt. Within 6 years, Roger Hunt would win the World Cup for England.
Yeah.
There he is. 23. I love this. £23 a week, plus a £4 bonus. Over on the right, the column where he hasn't got anything in, those are all the players who are living in club houses. That's their rents being taken off.
Is it?
Below him, you see Tommy Lawrence, who we just saw there. He's only on £13 a week with no bonus. If we move on to the next one, just to show that it wasn't Ian Callaghan, who went on to play a record number of games for Liverpool and was in the World Cup squad in 1966 as well. £23. £2 bonus. Again, he has no house rental from the club, unlike A.J. Arnell, who is paying £1, 17 and 6 to Liverpool Football Club. What a beautiful thing.
And fascinating. I know anyone under the age of 70 is now saying, well, OK, but that's what year is this?
60.
1961. Well, let me tell you, £23 in 1961, in today's money, is worth about £31. So you can see they were coining it in. They were living high on the edge. In fact, it's even more shocking. These are the top professional footballers at Liverpool Football Club. In today's money, it's 450 quid a week. Beautiful, a lovely pound note. And look at that, only paying 9 and 11 tax and insurance. 9 and 11, kids, that's the equivalent of £1,000.
Dean Windass next,
Dean Windass comes and joins us. We knuckle down to what it's like to be a professional footballer. Hope you can stay with us after these messages. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. This is Baker and Kelly VSPO right here on BT. Hey, it's BT. Please watch, or we all have to get proper jobs. And by the way, a lot of calls coming in, and we can put your mind at rest. This show really is filmed in out-of-focus vision.
Yeah.
So don't adjust your set. Now we got somebody coming aboard.
Look at this.
Look at this. It's been going up at least 10 minutes over there. Dean Windass, stop showing off. Stop showing those motor skills off and come and join us. That was absolutely impromptu. We just happened to have that ball.
Good that, wasn't it?
We threw it over there, and you have been keeping that aloft, as they say, for the last
For about 25 minutes.
Entertaining everyone here. You, my friends, are a proper
Also,
pro.
contractually obliged to remind people the applause you heard was from the rugby show previously. Yeah. We don't have our own applause.
Dean, we were watching between the under-21s game previously as well. There was a Bradford game playing out, and you immediately said, look at the state of that pitch. Well, there's no excuse for a pitch being that bad, is there? What did you make of all that?
Well, the pitch has always been like that, tonight at Valley Parade. No, it's not very...
What's the worst pitch you've ever played on? Can you think? Is there a pitch you thought of, either home or abroad, you played on somewhere and thought, that...
No, probably that Bradford pitch.
Really?
You know, because the water doesn't go away, you know, when it rains. It's really bad drainage.
That was particularly...
But I think they'll be quite happy about that because they've won tonight and then they've got Sunderland on in the FA Cup on Sunday. So
he's pulling it back there because he's, of course, an ambassador for the club.
No, of course, but there's no denying. Ambassadors can't be asked to look at a pitch that cuts up like that and say, oh, no, that's perfectly fine. But the other thing about it, and I'm going to ask you, is their kit, which we admired, and you went, never suited me.
I love that.
I love their kit.
What is it, orange and maroon, I suppose you call it?
It's the stripes, isn't it? But I used to get called fat when I played. But I'm delighted I'm on your show because I'm the skinniest.
Thank you very much indeed.
That is nice.
You're fitting right in.
It's a nice thing to say about the dog, isn't it?
Show. It's the first time I've been on the football show I've been the skinniest.
Yeah. Well, but you're always...
No offence, like.
No, how can we possibly take any of that? in a moment you'll be pointing out about hairlines, but well, you're always a big kid because I can never imagine you as a teenager, Dean. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was a late developer really. I was really small when I was 16.
Were you?
Yeah, when I was an apprentice at Hull C in the early days, I got released when I was 18 because I was too small.
What happens when they release you? Do you know it's coming, or do they call you in on
they call it D-Day.
Go on.
So, obviously, 2 years apprenticeship where you clean the boats, sweep the stands, do all the jobs that the kids do.
Do you really do that? Because you hear about it. You literally do that, do you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, my job was just the boats. So, like, now, when I was a footballer, apprentice would have two pros to one apprentice. So they'd clean two... So, like, say if I was your apprentices, I'd clean your two boats, and that'd be my job to keep your boat...
But sweeping the stands as well.
Sweeping the stands, even, like, in them days, they didn't have gloves. They'd get you put socks on your hands and have to... If the toilets was blocked...
Oh, no!
You had to put your hands down the toilet and that, to clear the toilet out.
How many of those under-21s we saw playing earlier do you think are doing that? Yeah, I know.
Well, I think that's a shame now because it was a great discipline and learning curve, really.
Yeah.
You know, you had to do your jobs properly. Mine was obviously the boots, but I did everybody's. I did everybody's match boots, everybody's training boots, everybody's trainers.
Because it was a privilege you felt.
Well, listen, it was just the part of your trade where you would do your jobs in the morning first, and then you train in the afternoon.
And you played for a long time, Dean. Were there still apprentices doing that? Did you have an apprentice
to
you?
I had apprentices, yeah. When I played, they stopped doing them towards the end, but then I would pay an apprentice because they weren't allowed to do it. Because I think there was an apprentice who fell off the roof when they was getting the ball. Because when we was apprentices, in them days, we'd have to be ball boys for the reserve games because there was no supporters. So when the balls went in the stand, we'd have to... And apparently, I think it was a lad from Burnley, if I'm right, that the ball went on the roof. And he went on the roof and he fell off.
Went through.
And that's when they started stopping the apprentices because of health and safety.
We got kind of derailed there into the actually fascinating world of what you had to do not too long ago. But when then, after all that, they let you go? You said this D-Day.
Yeah, Brian Orton was the manager. And... you know, we, as you say, he was 16 to 18, so he was a first year, and it was like £26. Talking about wages, it was like £26.30 the first year, and then £35 the second.
But they call
year.
You in today, and they say
Brian Orton, was all sat in the change rooms, and we get called in one by one, and you know, one lad would walk in, and then he'd come back out and he'd go, "Yeah, I got a year professional contract." Then another lad would come walking back in and go, "I've been released," crying and what have you. And I was actually the last one to go in. And Brian says to me, he says, "Obviously, unfortunately, we're not giving you a professional contract." Started crying straight away.
Did they tell you why?
He just says that, obviously, and it was right at the time, that I wasn't physically strong enough. You see me keeping the ball, I had all the ability in the world, but I wasn't physically strong enough.
So what did you do about it? Did you go...
Well, he said to me, "Go prove me wrong." And my dad obviously not here with us anymore, but he sort of said, you know, "It's one man's opinion, go prove him wrong."
So what did
Brian
you do?
says to me, he says, "You know, go prove me wrong." And my weakness was obviously my physicality, really.
It's incredible to think
And
about you
then,
like that. Yeah.
I worked in a factory, played non-league football, worked in a factory, then and then I ended up working on a building site, and I think that's when I started to get stronger, and I used to go running every night because that was my weakness, really. Is that, you know.
And didn't you get to give him your man of the match thing later?
No, well, I tried to. When I scored...
Tell people what it is.
When I scored the goal at Wembley, there was...
That goal.
To be fair, I don't know how I got man of the match because I was hopeless, I think, but apart from the goal, and you got like a Coca-Cola bottle, like a silver sort of bottle.
Sure.
And as I got it, and Brian Orton at the time was our assistant manager, and he ran on, give us a cuddle, and said blah blah blah, and I basically said, it was the worst moment of my life getting released, but it was probably the best because I wanted to prove him wrong, and right through 20 years of football, that's all I tried to do was try to prove people wrong. So I went, this is for you, because.
I do think that's such a great story in loads of ways because as a supporter, and we watch it all the time on telly, and you go to games and you think footballers don't know they're born. I mean, nowadays that may be true, but you just think, oh, what a lucky break for them, they're footballers. But to hear that kind of almost army training you went through...
Yeah, listen, it's the one thing footballers will tell you that you have to sacrifice a hell of a lot in your life. You don't have a Christmas, you don't have a New Year, you're in hotels, you're away from your families.
But I think, Dean, that's getting more and more and more, actually. I think that having the talent to play football, being a talented footballer, is now even less. It's all about application now.
But I think that supporters, or some naive supporters sometimes, just think that you turn up on a Saturday and play football.
I think those days are gone.
And you get paid a lot of money. I think that, it's the training every day. Some days you'll get a Wednesday off.
Yeah, by the same time, no, Dean... 200 grand a week, you're entitled to it. It's got a bit too far north that way, I think.
Oh, God, listen, I think I've missed a generation.
That's the thing, but old pros always tell us that.
Hey, the one thing that I always say is that I appreciated everything I got because I worked for a living as well.
Yeah.
I was on £140 a week on a building site. Yeah. And whatever you earned as a footballer, I appreciate everything I've got.
Because you clean the toilets, because you worked on the site.
I worked at Bird's Eye, I worked at...
Most of the people in this studio now are all putting their eyes to the floor. Well, I had a couple of rough days at university.
Yeah. I stubbed my toe on that camera earlier on,
We're all chipping round.
I know. I believe we have someone joining us.
We do indeed. First caller of the night. Nick is on the line. Hello, Nick.
Hey, Nicky.
Hello, how you doing, gents?
Good.
Real good. What have you got for us?
Let me ask you, Nick, what do you do? Nick, what do you do for a living?
Oh, I work for a software company.
Yeah. See,
Silicon
Valley.
Al Murray arrives.
Exactly. This fella carried a hod.
With that.
Yeah, but anyway,
Not
Nick.
the hod, a hod.
Hod, yeah.
What have you got for us, Nick?
OK, it's not recognising a famous player.
Yeah, we set this out before the incident this weekend. As usual, we're ahead of the
Have we forgot the Anecdote League?
We have forgot the Anecdote League, just for a second.
Yeah.
I'll award it after this. Who did you not recognise?
Well, it's suitably embarrassing, but I live down in Brighton, and we were, after work on a Wednesday night, me and a bunch of lads used to go and play football in the park. And so we're down there one evening, running around. And incidentally, I'm a Norwich supporter, so I'm there sort of running around like a fat wool fox in my yellow and green Canaries top. And halfway through the game, a couple of guys, about 5 guys come up and challenge us to a match. And we're like, OK, look, we'll give you guys a game. There's 5 of them and 9 of us, so we suggest that we'll offer them a couple of players to make it sort of fair. They go, don't worry, I don't think we'll need it. So we're like, OK. So we ended up starting to play against these guys. They're knocking it around, crossfield passes, one touch, absolutely beautiful stuff. Better than I've seen anyone play ever in my life.
You can tell, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, might know where this is going. So I got over and speak to the guy who's the who sort of seems like he's the top, the best player on their team. I say, what level do you play at? And I'm expecting him to say Lewis, play for Lewis, Worthing, White Hawk FC, something like that. He goes, looks at me in the face, and bear in mind I'm wearing a Norwich shirt. He goes, yeah, my name's Russell Martin. I'm the right back for Norwich.
No! You didn't recognise one of your own?
Well, as soon as he said it, I recognised him. And
that's just a bit too late, isn't it?
It is a little bit too late.
Just a tiny bit.
I know, but I was absolutely at context.
Well,
out of context,
let me
wrong.
swap your like for like in, Nick. I literally, as these things always happen, I've just been reminded of one I did years ago, Nick. I was in a pub over in Bermondsey in South East London, and I just started being on telly, and people got to know I was a Millwall supporter. But, you know, there's a mix in those pubs around there of West Ham and other clubs. And I was going to the toilets one night, and a fella, I thought they'd been looking at us a bit like this, and I was making my way to the toilet, and this fella put his arm out like that. I went, all right, mate. He went, yeah, you all right? I said, yeah. He went, you're that Danny Baker, ain't you? I thought, oh. His mates kind of gathered round. I said, yeah. He went, no, you're the Millwall supporter. Always talking about Millwall all the time, innit? And I'm trying to look at me mates saying, boys. Yeah. I went, well, you know. He went, no, you're the ones always giving it all to Millwall, aren't you? So I thought, yeah. He went, well, he didn't say nothing. I said, what? He said, I'm Brian Horn, the goalkeeper. Oh, Brian, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I know exactly what you mean, Nick. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks very much indeed, Nick.
Yeah.
Very quickly, a further example of people not being recognised for what they really are has happened at the very end of the transfer window. Got a couple of things to show you here. Show us the first photograph if you would. Please. Yeah. That gentleman...
You just talk amongst yourself while we rehearse,
That's Father Michael Duffy.
Yeah.
And he received scores of messages wishing him well at Celtic after successfully tying up his move in the last day of the transfer window from Derry City.
All right.
Not to be confused with this gentleman, who's also called Michael Duffy. He is 20-year-old Northern Ireland winger Michael Duffy. The other gentleman is associate pastor at St Killian's Church in Farmingdale, New York.
Oh, self-same, a doppelganger.
And the father Duffy admitted on Twitter that he's got no interest in what he calls soccer. He's never heard of either Celtic or Derry City. But immediately after the game at the weekend, the newest Celtic fan is thrilled to see a win.
Oh, that's a lovely tie-up, isn't it? A lovely tie-up.
Yeah.
You recognise this stuff, Dean. Do you remember the first time you signed an autograph?
Oh, no, it was a long time ago. I was... Because I signed Dino. I never signed Dino.
Didn't you?
I always put Dino for some reason. I asked Terry Dolan, my manager, when he signed me for Hull. Obviously, when I went back and... I think it was all on the table, the kit and balls and that in the change rooms. And I just put Dino, because I used to practice it when I was a kid.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah. And I used to put Dino, like, and Terry Dolan said, don't you put Windass? And I went, well, no, because it doesn't look right. Just everybody always used to shout Dino.
I can imagine.
I just put Dino. So
I went to school with a Shirley Windass, but she was Scottish.
Really?
Is it a Scots name?
I don't know.
We'll talk
more
more
about
about We'll talk more about that when we come back after these important messages. Thank you for being with us. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Look at that. Reading. What am I doing? Keep it.
New Corsa with advanced park assist from Vauxhall.
Welcome back, everyone. And I feel so foolish. I'm sitting here with the toasters and I've not got my predictor fez on.
Don't get it.
I'll tell you what, you've got some upcoming...
some announcements.
Do the announcements.
Well, put these in and then put your fez on.
No, don't put them in yet, because otherwise the whole thing
We're going to predict the game now between Crystal
Palace
Palace here on the right,
like that.
Liverpool on the left. That is the FA Cup 5th round tie, Saturday the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, of course. Live coverage here on BT Sport 1 from 5 o'clock. Fantastic games coming up here as well from the Barclays Premier League. Tuesday, Liverpool against Spurs, 8 o'clock kickoff. Wednesday, Chelsea against Everton, kick-off at 7:45. Football Tonight will come before both of those, and these matches and Matchday Live with Fletch and Sav will follow both of those.
I crept across the studio.
Yeah.
I think I got away with it. OK, now, what happens is, if you've never seen the show before, this has the greatest success rate of any pundits in television. Never mind what you see in the analysis that sometimes can drag on before and after a game. We put these down. The game is...
Crystal Palace. You can't beat Crystal Palace, obviously.
No, Liverpool. OK, here we go. So these go down.
Option's
First one
choice,
to pop
isn't
up gives the result. 3, 2, 1. Good.
Good. All right.
You know, with toasters...
Yeah. What about...
I know we've been told to
Your
hurry
eye
up.
has now shocked me. Go on.
You know, with toasters...
Yeah.
Thank you. The little dial on the back here...
Yeah.
Nobody uses 1 and 2. Why
No,
don't they have
I
1
would say
and
they're
2?
as meaningless as possession stats 1 and 2 on there, aren't they?
1 and 2, because if you use 1 and 2, that's not toast. That's bread.
Yeah. You can get a slice of bread and sit on it. That'll produce 1 and 2 for you. Don't worry about that.
No point buying one of these. You're wasting your money.
Why doesn't it start at 3?
Exactly. Start at 3
and go to 11
and go to 5. Because you can't have 6.
No, 11 roof tiles.
That's not toast. That's Cajun bread. OK. We started, haven't we? Go on, Dan. This is come on,
right,
guy now.
We do come on, guy. We all know the drill now. We'll just shout, come on, guy. Just got a handful of these for you.
Dan, if he sees things in games where he thinks that's pathetic.
Or just people doing the way these things. So all hail then Chelsea midfielder Willian, who's been in London for 15 months, I think, so far of his career, and has admitted to seeing the Michael Jackson tribute show, Thriller, 15 times since he got here. Come on, guy! Right.
Ow!
Next, we take ourselves to the University of British Columbia in Canada, where Professor Louise Aguiar, proper academic, has now set up a new course. It is called The Social and Sexual Significance of Cristiano Ronaldo, Global Citizen.
Global Citizen!
Come on, guy! And finally, those of you who watched the African Cup of Nations final last night, of course, the game was a washout, but it went to a penalty shootout between Ghana and Ivory Coast. Often a bit of a stress for the people taking the penalties. Definitely stressful for people in the technical area watching them. Some people put their shirts over their head. Some people lay on the ground, didn't want to watch the penalties. But top of the shop, former Arsenal, now Roma forward, Gervinho, who used, here we go, patio furniture to avoid the penalties. He's sitting on a plastic garden chair facing away from the penalties.
Come on, guy.
There's no excuse for that, is there?
And now we're reaching something of an apogee.
We passed 1 and 2.
Here we go. Now we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Careful now.
The first one.
Dean.
Where's the butter?
Oh, she's ruining the vibe. Oh! A draw!
Oh, yes. A replay.
We've never had this. You see what you did to the vibe, Dean Windass?
Crystal Palace and Liverpool will draw their FA Cup fifth.
Let us confirm that. Can we have a look just to see if any advantage must be jealously watched?
There was a nano over here, but it's definitely a draw.
Oh, I don't know.
Not in slow motion. You can't give that as a win.
How slow is my reaction? I see I'm rusty out of last.
Well, you were still looking at 1 and 2.
Could we see that once more? And I mean that. Can we see it once more? Because otherwise this whole thing is a fiasco. We need to see that just once more, please. Yours, I think. Yeah! That's a result.
Oh,
Crystal Palace.
It is, isn't it? That's
Crystal
a result.
Palace.
And Dean, put your house on it. That never, ever lies.
And of course, you as a big Crystal Palace fan.
I am only trying to do the right thing.
Dean, we've got a camera there. Show us the tattoo on your right arm. Who is that, my friend?
It's my left arm.
Oh, your left arm, sorry,
okay.
Who is that?
It's my dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's when he died, so I
was frightened of people going to be some pop star you liked when you were 17. It's your dad, is that brilliant?
It was a singer. He probably thought it was a pop star.
Good singer?
He wasn't bad.
OK.
He wasn't bad.
All right, what else are we going to...
Just before you go into the world of ink over there, and nothing for me, you know, can match the bracing sting of a tattooist needle first thing in the morning. I know how it is. But we did that over there and you were giving it the once over. Were you a superstitious player? Do you kind of look at omens?
I was... The only thing I wanted to do was be at the back, come out last.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And then I'd wash my face 3 times.
Go on, tell us about that. What do you do?
Well, when you go in you go for a pee before you go out.
Yeah.
So then obviously you wash your hands.
Yeah.
And
So then I would go at once, twice, and then 3 times, and then turn the tap off.
Have you ever got into a game and thought, I didn't do that?
No, I always did it.
Did you?
I always did it, yeah.
Dean, I'm cutting because the word 3 times has obviously set me off here. We've had players on this table, on that sofa, I guess you'd call it, over the last few months, who've been very proud of disciplinary records. Say, oh no, I never sent off. 2 came. I can think 2.
I know where you're going with this.
Some players have never been sent off, Dean Windass. You've had 1, 2, 3, not yellow, 3 red cards in 1 game.
In 1 game?
Tell us about that, my
Famously
friend.
so. Well done, by the way.
Oh, incidentally.
Yeah, well done.
Dean Windass, 3 red cards, everyone.
Yeah, you bet.
10 red cards and 3 of them was in 1 game,
Tell us.
It was silly, really. It's obviously
Who are you playing for?
Aberdeen.
Yeah.
And against Dundee United.
Had you gone up north to mess about, Dean?
No.
Yeah.
I scored a lot of goals for Aberdeen, but I'm probably more famous for that.
But how can it be 3 red cards?
Well, I'd made 2 tackles, which was a red card, obviously. And then I called the referee something as I walks off.
Yeah. Another red card.
Not very nice.
I didn't know they could do that.
No, and then I punched the corner flag as I walked off. So when we got back in the change rooms, the 4th official knocked on the door and he says, "Kev, Mr. Windus and Mr. Aitken in the referee's room." Roy Aitken was my manager. And, the referee says, "I'm reporting Mr. Windus for the 2 tackles, which is a red card. Reporting him for the foul and abusive language towards myself, which is another red card.
Yeah.
The corner flag incident is another red card, so equivalently given 3 red cards.
I'm surprised. The punch in the corner flag, yellow at best, isn't it?
I got a 8-game ban.
Oh!
Well, can I do, before I forget this subject, for next week's show, please get in touch if you've ever taken out footballing frustration or anger on an inanimate object, because that shouldn't be a sending off.
No.
And I didn't know this because, well, we don't know anything about football really as supporters, but I didn't know, does that normally happen? They come up and say you want it in the referee's room?
Not really. It's the first time I've ever had it done.
Can I ask
like
a straightforward
headmaster
question about this? Do you think they picked on you because you're English?
Well, people were saying that at the time because I kept getting yellow cards, and it was a bit poor in Scotland then because you couldn't, like, if the ball was bouncing, you raised your foot, they'd give you a yellow card, but they didn't. You don't get that in England, you know. But everybody. Actually, Roy Aitken used to say he is getting a little bit targeted now, do you know, by the referees and that. And,
well,
the old 8-game ban.
I wasn't the nicest footballer to play against.
That's
so.
about 3 red cards. That seemed a little.
Well, going back to the superstition thing, I've got OCD, so I clean up a lot, and I hoovered up one morning before I went to the game, because my kids must have left some bits on the floor, so I hoovered up, and as I hoovered up the house, I scored on the Saturday. So I had to hoover up.
Of course you do.
So when was on away trips, you know, instead of asking for an iron or an ironing board, I asked for an hoover.
Did you?
Did
you want them little?
To hoover the. Well, just any hoover, just to hoover the hotel room. So they
must have loved him.
When Brian Hughes, especially when I was at Hull, Brian Hughes, like he'd be the most untidiest footballer.
2 hours too early for a game at the Arsenal. The last home game.
How can that happen?
Well, they changed the time because it turned out it was 5:15 or something, wasn't it?
When did they announce it? Like months before, or?
Danny, you're not involved with the Premier League.
No.
They tell you on the way to the ground.
No,
you're halfway there, pulling up in the car park. They say, no, the game's not till 3 o'clock now.
And who does that? The terrible corporations who are choking this game.
BT.
No, I'm talking about the other mob, you know.
Sorry. Not the other mob, yeah.
Tiscally internet.
Absolutely, yeah.
OK.
So this is poor old Mitchell game gets to the game 2 hours early at the Emirates.
Yeah. Well, if anyone wants to see what, you know, guttering was like in the early 21st century, that photo is invaluable.
It got worse. I then tweeted him, because I'm a good bloke, saying, about 20 minutes later, saying, no, you're all right. Go to Veli's Caf, opposite the big stone Arsenal words. Beautiful food in there. And he said, oh, no, I've already gone inside now.
Did he? Well, no, come on, Dean, that's a rotten photograph.
It's got to go.
Don't be so contrary. What do you reckon?
It's got to go.
It is a rotten photograph.
And one more, just to
oh, is there?
Yeah, well, only so far as it's a newsy one, isn't it? From the last days of the transfer window. I mean, every picture of Aaron Lennon in his new Everton kit was like that, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
And I mean, poor old Martinez, who's very good with English language.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're going to sack the photographer because unbelievable. Aaron.
I think a lot of footballers, I'm the same. If anybody asks me for a photo, I never smile.
Don't you?
No.
Why would that be?
I don't know, just a natural,
You don't think he's just miserable to be at Everton Football Club?
Probably.
I think he's reflecting the views. His expression and his demeanour there is exactly what the general public's reaction is to Deadline Day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what people
Probably
are like with Deadline Day.
28 for the month and they haven't been paid yet.
We'll leave it to you. Keep or delete?
I'd keep that one.
Yeah, keep that one. Well, that has been keep or delete for the meantime. Now, you have brought what looks like, and I'm sure it is, a brandy decanter to add to our Football Hall of Fame over there.
Already full of beautiful things.
Absolutely extraordinary. Football
Hall of Fame. You asked me to bring some across, and I didn't really know what to bring. There was quite a few things, but this is my first ever Man of the Match award.
Oh, no.
Can you remember the game, Dean?
You can't give us that.
For Hull City v Shrewsbury Town.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but echoing. Shrewsbury Town, November the 5th, 1991.
Mate, you cannot give us that.
I can give you that because I've got about 1,000 more now.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. That was your first one.
Yeah, I know, but...
Come on. No, I'll tell you what.
My dad gave me it, because I gave it to my dad, and then when my dad passed away, his wife gave me it back.
We'll borrow it to the end of the series, Dan. And keep it
all right, but that speaks volumes for you.
No, but that's...
Let me see it.
I've got to tell you, some of the pros
put your whiskey in there.
I'm talking to you, Dion Dublin. You know what he gave us? A piece of sweat off his brow.
Yeah. feel
a piece of sweat.
That is not messing about,
No,
either.
that is the real deal.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the real deal, and it's
That is heavier than that bomb you had at
Dion
ITV.
didn't run quick enough, did he?
He gave us. Luke Fadden still gave us a lock of his hair. This, my friend, although we have got some nuts and bolts out of various players.
Right.
Francis Benali gave us one of the actual screws out of his leg.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, he did. Did it live on the air. We did a little surgery. I'm not strictly trained to do that, but we had a go and it worked all right.
The only one we couldn't keep was Kevin Gallagher brought his cartilage in a glass vial.
I had a little one, but I don't know where it's gone.
No. He drank it.
I probably ate it.
Don't say that, Dean. How are you doing these days? You're up in Hull, aren't you?
Yeah, back in Hull, yeah. But obviously, I'm just being made ambassador of Hull City, which I'm very proud of.
Because I think you're the sort of person who would make a great ambassador, Dean, looking at that picture there.
Yeah, me.
Staying up? Of course you're going to say yes. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. You know, great result on Saturday against Man City.
Oh, no. What were you, 90 seconds away?
Yeah, 90 seconds free kick from James Milner. But the lads performed really well, and we've got a massive game tomorrow night now, Aston Villa. 6-pointer.
When you watched, Dean, because you play until, what, 2011?
Yeah, recently, yeah.
Yeah, finished when I was 40, yeah.
Yeah, and do you like when if I'm sitting next to someone driving a car, I go for the pedals all the time. When you're watching a game, do your legs...
Yeah, when I'm sat in the director, because obviously my role at the club is to get an ex-player from their position.
Yeah.
So when we had Keith Gillespie on Saturday for the Newcastle game, so every time the ball went in the air, like Keith got a bit of a nudge. Do you know what I mean? So I kept I apologise. I'm sorry. So I have to get somebody distance away from
Like an old boxer at the sound of a
yeah,
bell.
well, it's like anything.
You
It's
might
like-
add to your red cards in the director's box.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So like when I used to commentate, I used to edit. Do you know if somebody edited it? I used to.
One very quick one, because we're virtually out of time to hear the theme tune again. Do you ever dream you're still playing? Do you have dreams when you're on a pitch?
Yeah, my girlfriend says that I talk a lot and like shout at the referee when I'm asleep and all that.
Wow. So, the girlfriend can give you 3 red cards in one match, if you know what I mean.
Exactly, yeah.
Dean, it's been fantastic. Please come back and see us, my friend.
I certainly will
There's
do,
a
mate.
million
Thank
other
you.
things to ask. I'm sorry that we didn't get time for a full-hour interview, but that's the nature of the game. Anything at all that has been thrown up in tonight's show you want to join us on, you can find us on Twitter, etc., or spin back to the front of the show and you'll see how you can get in contact direct. Dean Windass, thank you very much indeed. But
Thank you for watching.
yourselves. We'll see you next week live, everyone. See you then.